It's not just a show, it's a movement. So get ready for another dynamic journey as we wake up the world to a new era of opportunities and empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, President Larry Ivory.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, my name is Dr. Larry Ivory. I'm the president CEO of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and also the chairman of the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce. You know what I was thinking about what I said, the chairman of the National Black Chamber of Commerce. What does that mean? We're going to talk about what that means and why that's important in terms of what that means for black business in Illinois to be the chairman of the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce. We are excited again to bring to you Saturday another conversation of black economic empowerment, how we do what we do, why we do what we do. Every day we get up and we're fighting for black business because that's our mission. And I'm so excited that I have with me today none other than our incredible co-host, who is not just a co-host here, but she's on several radio shows. And so we get the iconic figure of radio with us today, LaDonna Raeh. She is not only that, but she's marketing. LaDonna got so many gifts and talent that I don't even know how to use her. So, LaDonna, welcome to the Wake Up Show.
You know what? Thank you so much, Larry. And, there are so many legends that have come before me. So I take that humbly. I really appreciate that. But yes, guys, you are listening to the Wake Up Show Chicago, heard here on WVON 1690 each and every Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. We get it in early this hour of power. And certainly you can hit those phone lines at 773-591-1690. So important for you guys to kind of chime in with us. Also, we are brought to you by Wind Creek Chicago Southland. They are our sponsors, but we are by way of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. I want to make sure that you guys remember and understand that you can go to our website, which is ilbcc.org. Again, that's ilbcc.org. And we would love for you to become a partner with us. And I mean, we call it membership, but to become a partner with us is to partner with us. But Larry, I hope you don't mind, but I've got my offspring up in the building. Today is his birthday. He's 15 today. I can't even believe that my baby boy is 15. And go ahead, Larry. I thought I heard you say something.
Hey, man, I said the big 15.
Right.
He is just about a man, LaDonna.
Well, you know what? I know. And I tell him every day, you are becoming a man. And what type of man are you becoming? So I do want to give him a couple of minutes to tell us, happy birthday, Liam. But you're taking an entrepreneurship class, business, and this is a business show. So what did you wanted to share something with our audience?
So currently I go to TF North. And as you said, I'm taking a business and tech class. We have learned about entrepreneurship, the types of accounting, and what it means to be an accountant. So basically, entrepreneurship. You start up a business and you make sure it stays up so that you can make money off it, profit. And you have to calculate your revenue and how much you're spending. Accounting, they technically work together, I would say, in my opinion. And
so with them working together, at least know exactly the snapshot of where your business is what you're saying. And that's what you're learning in your class.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is we want to definitely bring Dr. Jeffrey Sterling into the fold. And I know Dr. Jeffrey Sterling is on the live line, but Doctor, just so you know, before I introduce you, if you check your emails, your link is the exact same every week. So let me know if you want to use that, or we're going to bring you through the phone line currently. But just so you guys know that are listening, joining us is Dr. Sterling, chairman of the Health Industry and Policy Committee for the National Black Chamber of Commerce and chairman of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce Health Industry Committee, author of 72 Hours in a Day, which I read, and I'm going to give it to you, Liam, so you can read it, and someone who understands what it takes to turn access into outcome. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sterling.
Hello there. Hope you are well, and congratulations to the young man.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
All right,
Hey, well,
Dr.
guys,
Stern, go ahead, Larry.
So let us, today again, it's so important in terms of when we talk about what we do at the chamber. A lot of times people don't understand that what we do impacts everything. It's like what we do impacts your sons and your daughter. Because when we take a look at the economics and drill into the numbers and understand that in order for us to have impact and live a better life, that you can't do that without having some resources. And the question becomes, and if that's important, then how do we create the resources? And people have made it clear, and I say it all the time, and I heard someone else say it, so I'm saying his comment, is that the only way to move from poverty to prosperity is through entrepreneurship. And that's really what the chamber focuses on, because we believe that is essential, one of the most important things we can do. When we get our own money, our own resources, we can have an impact. So what does the chamber do? We focus on that, and we impact hundreds, billions of dollars of opportunity. Where a door is shut, we open a door. Because often what we see happening, team, is that all of us know that we don't always get the fair shake. And if you're out there by yourself and something goes wrong, they know they can just deal with one person. But when they deal with a strong Black organization, that requires them to take a different perspective. And you got to know how to leverage that. We know how to leverage our influence. We do it every day, 7 days a week. We got so many receipts, so many success stories. And I just want to tell you one quick, and I want to give a shout out to IDOT, because just recently we have a construction committee. Patrick Thomas went for his DB certification, Dr. Shirley and LaDonna, into the listening audience, and he was just having some problems getting certified, rejected twice, and we just simply made a phone call, told them who we were, they knew who we were, and within several days, IDOT was able to get him to his certification. And I dare to say that wouldn't happen unless you have a seat at the table and people respect your voice. And we were glad that IDOT responded quickly. Brandy and Mr. Glavin both responded quickly, attorney, to make sure this problem was fixed. But we do this every day, and I am so proud to represent Black business and Black people in all the things that we do. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, because it's a silly dog that won't wag his own tail and a dumb duck who won't swim in his own pond. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we do, how we do it, and some of the successes that we've had today. And you guys can jump in if I miss something, and I know I will. Feel free to give your perspective on the value added of the chamber, because I'm going to highlight a couple things real quick.
Yeah.
One, we've already established how important money is in businesses. But here's what we do from the chamber perspective. Most people may not know that we have a political PAC. And that political PAC has been around for quite a number of years, over 15 years. We've had a political PAC. We formed that political PAC for one reason only. It was about disrupting Black business, because we know that the business of politics and the politics of business. So we created a PAC so that we can contribute to people that really understand Black business and become an advocate for Black business. And we know that was a part of the game. So we created the PAC that we would have access to contribute. And we got some people we're going to celebrate, because we got some major issues that we're fighting for right now that we're going to get into later. And we got some champions. And we want to thank the Black Caucus, but we're going to thank them a little bit later in terms of what they're trying to get done for us. And I would say for Dr. Sterling, because it's for us. It ain't just for Dr. Sterling, but if he gets it done, us will benefit from all the work that's going to happen here. And we want to celebrate that with the leaders who are working also to make that happen. One of the other things I think is important that we'll talk about is that a lot of times when you're out there by yourself and you run into situations and you don't have the lobbyists down in Springfield, so there's a lot of things that can happen in Springfield that can adversely impact you or positively impact you. And some of the times we don't even know what's impacting us or not impacting us. So the chamber goes on the lobby day to take a look at legislation that we feel strongly for or strongly against. And we make sure that we carry that with a significant number of us down there letting our legislators know that we are for this or against it. LaDonna, you were very much involved in this issue that we had with the bankers. Give us some insight of your experience when you went down and did your press conference and why that was important for us to build linkages with the banking institutions.
Absolutely. So what's going on in Illinois is that the interchange fee for swiping your credit card, big companies and corporations or retailers have been really biting the bullet on taking the interchange fees out of the profits that they bring in from the amounts that are swiped. So let me explain that. You get something, you buy something for $100. There's a $10 tax, and let's just say in the service industry, you want to add $5 for a tip. Well, the large corporations or even every corporation has to pay taxes on the total amount, and the tips, they have to pay an interchange fee. And that money, none of that money, the taxes and tips go to them. So they have jumped up and down, as I like to say, about these fees. So Illinois wants to be the pioneer, or is going to be the pioneer as of July 1st, where the interchange fees will be separated by cash. What they're proposing is that you swipe your card and they take $100 out, but then you have to pay the rest in cash. That's ridiculous. Who carries cash anymore? So what we did when we went down to Springfield last year is we took the time to do the press conference and talk about how this would cripple smaller businesses because the POS systems would have to be reassessed and redefined in order to handle these types of transactions. And also this would be this would minimize tipping, if you will, because if you don't have the cash or you don't want your card swiped twice, which that has gone away, then those tips may not even take place. So that was what the press conference was about, to kind of be against this whole movement. It is the interchange, I think I remember, it's the Interchange Fee Prohibition Act. That is what you guys need to talk to your legislators about, not allowing Illinois to be the pioneer, because once we do it, the rest of the country will follow, and it will be a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. And the point we make to this, to our listening audience, is that there's a lot of things in Springfield that happen that will have an impact upon you. We are the vanguards when those things come up to engage in healthy conversation, sometimes coming before the House and the Senate to testify on issues that impact you. So even though you don't see us, we're fighting for you. If you take a look at the sheltered market, the role that the chamber played in terms of the sheltered market is one of the most significant pieces of procurement that has been on the a part of the procurement law, but never once been utilized. And I can tell you that Charlotte Robert hit me to it when I was on the BEP Council, and she said, "Larry, are you familiar with the sheltered market?" I said, "No." And once I looked at it and we began to talk about it, I then took the bull by the horns and began to fight and make sure that it was a law that should have been being used. And most people said, "Well, look, you're not going to get anybody to support this, Larry. No governor's going to support it, la-di-da, la-di-da," because what his fundamental says is that at every BEP council meeting, there shall be an opportunity to discuss sheltered market. And then if you find that there's discrimination, you shall establish sheltered market rate discrimination. That's a powerful tool that we can now begin to utilize. And the CI Commission has officially created a committee to take a look at sheltered market and moving the sheltered market forward. We haven't done a sheltered market since 2018 or 19. So it's time for us to move forward. We're impacting those things. We're keeping it in front of people. We're challenging the status quo on behalf of Black businesses. And as I said, that when we take a look at the numbers, that we've impacted, contracts that we've had direct influence in advocating for. We have a number on our website that said, I think 220 million. But really, the impact that we've had over the time that we've had is in the billions of dollars that we've impacted on behalf of Black businesses across the state. Dr. Sterling, you got anything that you wanted to point out in terms of the chamber?
Well, I think the conversation needs to be elevated. Your modesty is admirable, but your effectiveness needs to be trumpeted. I remember it's almost been a decade now when I was president of Northwestern's Black Alumni Association, and you came and we talked about how to procure a reasonable share of the $2 billion a year that university spends for African-American businesses, and you've been doing it ever since. I mean, you didn't mention the contribution that you had to the $250 million that was received for the Black MCO at the time. I mean, you haven't talked about the ways in which you've enhanced directly the media and the toll road and, multiple construction companies and AG Industries, which was the largest Black business in the state. It is billions of dollars, and people need to appreciate that. You don't get the credit. The chamber doesn't get the credit. Too often, people think about perfection being the enemy of the good, and nobody likes to see how the sausage is made. They think they can just come in without being members and take advantage of the chamber and reap the benefits of what you do, and that actually occurs indirectly. But what I would say to the listening audience is, ascribe to the theory of Ubuntu. Now, many people have heard that before. The old saying that I am because we are, is also that's used, and the chamber embodies that. The long and short of it is that if you are a Black business entity, you're strong because this chamber exists, and that reverberates throughout the services that these industries, our businesses create. And the flip side is equally important. You have to support the chamber in order for the chamber to do what it does. And you're talking about a chamber that has an infrastructure that really is what it needs to be. This show is wonderful evidence of that. The political PAC, wonderful evidence of that. The ability to call anyone and to get an audience, heads of agencies, the senators and reps that we talk to during lobby day. There's so much that this chamber does, and you're to be congratulated for it. But we're just getting started, because until there is a closer approximation of a representative amount of this $55 billion a year budget, there's still much work to be done. And as long as there are disparities in economics and education and healthcare, there's more work to be done. So I am because you are. People need to strap up, pull together, and start marching in one line. And that means in this state that the combination, which is yet to be realized to its fullest potential, of the Black Chamber and the Black Caucus is a powerful combination that really is going, whenever that happens, to the extent to which it happens, is directly going to carve the path for success and improvement of the quality of life for Blacks in the state.
Well said. I want to piggyback off of that because there's been a lot of movement, a lot of activity, and very much so needed change. Just understand, and that, Larry, I know that this is not woe is me or give me my flowers, but this is I've watched what the chamber has done for many businesses. And just in case it's not clear what is being done when this show is not on the air, just the advocacy alone. I've never seen anyone have strong relationships where they can pick up the phone and make things move. If you're having an issue or concern or not necessarily packaged nicely. Dr. Sterling, I love how you said the sausage, because I used to own a grocery store and nobody wanted to see that in the back. They only wanted to see the pretty bow in the front. You know what I mean? And when there's sausage being made, even in business, and then the chamber steps in, the pretty bow shows up. You got to go through something to get something. So apologize for having to throw that out there, but we've definitely been on the platform of advocacy. Love it.
Yeah, and I want to, Larry. Let me say this, because I need to flip it, and I need the audience to appreciate how they are needed. we all, it's one thing to come out to a lobby day, and it's another thing to call your administrator. But to the businesses out there, you must be a member of this chamber. It's really just that simple. Because let me just give you one example about why advocacy for the chamber is so important. In the state of Illinois, and Larry, you will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not. In the state of Illinois, the Illinois Black Chamber is the only specialty chamber, the only chamber that doesn't receive funds from the General Assembly. I know that the General Chamber of Commerce does, the Hispanic Chamber does, I believe the Asian does, the Women Caucus. And again, how can that happen in a state where you have such powerful representation of African Americans inside the General Assembly? You have a lieutenant governor that is African American, and yet somehow, politics. I remember once Barack Obama said, I'm a politician, I will do what you make me do. And that's where the advocacy comes into play. So you are needed to support the chamber just as much as the chamber goes to work every single day with this lunch pail and hard hat, because, until it is known in the seat of government where power exists, that the chamber not just represents thousands of black businesses, but the thousands of businesses and constituents have the chamber's back, then nobody feels the impetus to move off the dime and to do better. Because that is just such an egregious statistic that I threw out there, or circumstance that I mentioned, that we could do something about that right now if we actually advocated for that. They're in session now. It's been going on for years and years where we've had these conversations and nothing happens. But we, the people, have the power to make changes like that, because ultimately it's a mutually beneficial relationship, but it has to include the power of the people in order to put us in a position where we can advocate for the interest of the people.
What is the definition of a member of the chamber?
The definition of a member of the chamber is pretty simple. You are a member by the fact that you go on our website, you take a look at our where you fit, and you join. You make the economic contribution and become a member of the chamber. Then you can take a look at all the 12 standing committees, and you get involved, and we help you to scale your business up and create access and opportunities. It's a win-win situation for all of us, because, you can't operate an organization without resources. And the more resources we have, the more work we can do. If we do the work we do with what we have, we can do even greater work, no different than small businesses who grow their have more employees. They're going to generate more revenues at the same time. That's really it in a nutshell, LaDonna.
Okay. I want to add to that. I'm sorry, because you're very kind in saying that. Becoming a member, that's great. If you did it 5 years ago, you went to the website, you joined, you paid your annual fee. Then the next year, did you pay your annual fee?
You're not a member then.
But do you still get the benefits? You're not supposed to. Okay, because no money, no mission. But you know what I like to say, Jerry. Dr. Larry and Uncle. Uncle, did I say Uncle? Lord Jesus. Dr. Sterling, no money, no honey. Okay, I stand by that. But what happens when we're able to get those memberships in is that money is then allocated to continue to do the work. And I don't think people understand that. So joining once, but not annually renewing, does not make you a valid member. And I just wanted to point that out.
Let me take the con. There is a fine line between being a supporter and a member. The chamber needs all. And I actually would be an advocate of tiered membership, because believe me when I tell you, and I'm going to draw an analogy for you. Once again, back when I was running Northwestern's Black Alumni Association, we had dues, and we had about 500 members. We actually eliminated dues, and our membership shot up to 5,000. We then took that roster of those 5,000 individuals and went out and got corporate contributions up the wazoo. So it's not about the front-end contributions, because everybody's not able to make that financial contribution. There could be a tiered membership that really doesn't offer you the same type of benefits as a paid membership, and that works. But, the point that I will continue to make, that if the chamber is able to represent itself as having thousands upon thousands of members of any category who will actually be supporters and act on the chamber's behalf when called upon, there is a value in that that transcends upfront economic contributions and really can result in significantly larger back-end contributions. So that's something to think about, because I begin the conversation not by thinking about members, but by thinking about supporters. Now, there's a practical reality. The chamber has to function with finances. But once again, think about it in the context of the last comment I made. If we had 5,000 members, who none of whom were paying dues, and they all engaged in a sufficiently competent letter-writing campaign such that the General Assembly was inclined to toss the few million dollars to the chamber that it does to the other groups, then we would say that that would be a free membership offer well spent, and still left us at the end of the conversation empowered. So there are different ways to skin the cat, but I apologize to you both for stepping on the formal policy of the chamber, which is that you really do need to make that financial contribution. But I would suggest that perhaps there are people in the audience that want to be supporters who just can't afford the contribution. I think we should be deft enough to create a way for a tier for them to get in and still be supporters, because that will work to our benefit in the long run.
Oh, what a way to look at it, yeah.
Get in where you're feeling. Hey, guys, I'm going to pivot a little bit, and because I said in the earlier comments when I said the chairman of the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, and we were going to talk about why that's important, we're going to pause for a moment to talk about why that's important. Because, you know, the beautiful thing about the National Black Chamber of Commerce, who's been an advocate on Capitol Hill and throughout the country and throughout the world, is that it gives us access to the international global impact, but it also gives us an opportunity to identify other services that help businesses grow through the national organization. As the chairman of the board, I get a chance to really take a look at some of the services. I'm going to point out one of the services that I'm really happy to partnership with. And we got a lot of partners, and we're going to talk about some of our partners. And then we're going to talk about one of the biggest issues in front of us when it comes to what's going on in Springfield. We're going to close out with that. But going back to what I was saying is that when we take a look at the chamber and take a look at the relationships that we have and how we move the agenda forward on an international level, is that the national gives us an opportunity to, to say, hey, look, Larry, there's a company that's doing something globally. They came to us, but I'm making sure as chairman that you get it. And then we become the guinea pigs for guinea pig sounds like the experiment, but not the experiment, but the opportunity to bring that services to us. One of the things we were proud of is that remote works. And I just want us to hear the importance of this, because every time we're looking at something, we're looking and saying, does it help Black businesses? Would allow us to scale up and move forward. Well, we just hired a young lady who cost us $1,300, and a number of our other chambers have hired, and many more are going to be hiring, where we pay about $1,300, no health care, no health insurance. And these individuals, just like the Fortune 100 companies, they are qualified, they are capable, they're multi-talented, and they work for us 40 hours a week for the whole month, and it costs us $1,300. That allows us to hire the talent that we need for right now, but it also allows us to hire even U.S. talent as we grow our revenues, because if you don't have enough revenues coming in, you can't hire no one anyway. You'll be out of business because you're not generating enough revenues. This gives us an opportunity to take very talented people from overseas, whether it be especially an emphasis on Africa, who got them very educated, speak good English, and know what they're doing, to come and be a part of our team. And it also gives us a global perspective, because the chamber is in the business of not just doing business in the United States. We're in the business of doing business globally, whether it be Costa Rica, Brazil, Africa. We want to open the markets to everybody, and we commit to that. We have gone on trade missions to Jamaica, Puerto Rico, all over around the world, advocating and opening doors for Black business, because we understand. Now, I don't have to say much about that to Dr. Sterling, because Dr. Sterling was doing global business, and he understands the importance of global perspective. Dr. Sterling, give us a picture of why you think global perspective is important.
Well, let me give you two practical. Let me follow up, pick up what you put down on the National Chamber, and then talk about the international. So let me make 2 points. Uh, and this is very practical so that people can understand, once again, why the Chamber is important and the impact that the Chamber has. You know, the National Health Industry and Policy Committee is specifically looking to create a roster of black businesses across the entire country. And, you know, Illinois is one of the premier states across the country in terms of the volume of black businesses that exist. But what we're looking to do is to play both ends against the middle. We want to take that black business roster and shop it. The Chamber is looking to have trade agreements with corporations. You know, every Fortune 500 company should have a certain amount of spend that it's willing to commit to. We are systematically going down that list with the roster of black businesses that exist and matchmaking on the behalf of members of the Chamber. So that's part of the activity that we're doing. And of course, in securing those opportunities, we are also looking for new portals of entry to business for people that want to be entrepreneurs. So that's the type of practical application that exists by being a member, both on the state level and on the national level. Now, as you pointed out, I've been doing business overseas for the better part of 20 years now. And, you know, spoiler alert, we'll be talking about this on a future show, I'm sure, but, you know, Simcoe Foundation is actually doing a medical mission in Nigeria in September and in Rwanda in March of 2027. And, you know, we're the black entity in the United States that does these things. But it's not just about doing good. It's about doing well while you're doing good. And what these medical missions also are business development opportunities. Because as we go over there and demonstrate expertise, we actually are mining the fields for subsequent business opportunities. When we first presented to Rwanda, they told us explicitly, we don't want a one-off. We want partners who will come in and help us develop our nation. You guys build America, help us develop our country. And that's a business opportunity there are very few organizations nationally, black organizations, that have the power to reach out and to conduct business in that manner. The Chamber is that. So whether it's the Illinois State Chamber that's going to Zimbabwe or Ghana, or you know what we're doing. As a matter of fact, you know, Simcoe Foundation's two of our more prominent strategic partners in this are the National Black Chamber and the Illinois State Chamber. So across the globe, we are mining the fields for ways in which we can conduct business on behalf of the black community to produce better outcomes for the black community, inclusive of economics and finances. So this is why membership at whatever level you can get in is critically important. The Chamber, under Larry's leadership now for about 25 years, has been doing the damn thing. And you ought to be congratulated. You ought to be celebrated. But I hope that what people in the audience are hearing today is that you are to be supported. The Chamber needs to be supported. And no contribution is too big. No contribution is too small. But you have to get in and either contribute your money, your time, your knowledge, or some such thing, because it's making a difference all over the world.
You know, Larry, can you give that that political PAC website? Do you know it, or I can search for it?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, LaDonna.
Okay, I'm going to put it up. Yeah.
But hey, let me also acknowledge that the president of the Illinois Black Business PAC, the Illinois State Black Business PAC, is none other than Robert Johnson, is the president of the political PAC. I'm chairman of the board, but Robert Johnson is the president of the political PAC. We are going to be doing some fundraising. Our goal is to put $1 million in the PAC. $1 million in the PAC. Now, I'm not going to get in that today because I think
actually I want to get into it. I'm so sorry. It's ilbccpac.org. Okay, ilbccpac.org. And that's where you can make your donations and get information about it.
But we're going to have a show just on the PAC to talk about why the PAC is important, why we need to be a part of the PAC, and why we need to raise that money so that we can, you know, support legislators who support our agenda. If we don't support our agenda, we ought not to support legislators who don't support that. But getting back to on the international front is that, you know, when Dr. Sterling talks about doing this humanitarian trade, this humanitarian mission that he's taken over to Nigeria and to Rwanda, is that, you know, like you say, it opens the door. And when you open the door and you build relationships, you're able to identify other opportunities that can really foster economic growth and development. It's like Joseph Business School And again, shout out to our partners, the BLC, and their leadership, as well as the Joseph Business School, Dr. Dolores Thomas, and Bill Woodson for the vision he has to build 100,000 Black businesses doing $1 million. We are partnering together because that's a shared vision that we have. As many Black businesses as we can get to do $1 million, hey, we're on the same page, and we ought to work together collectively. In this environment, working together becomes essential to our help and helping our people when we understand the collective energy we have together instead of the silos we have apart. So we're always going to be pushing to partner with people, to work with people who have a shared vision in terms of Black economic empowerment as a whole. So moving back to the conversation, Dr. Sterling, there are some big things happening in Springfield, and I want to pause to give the right emphasis. We've been working on something for quite a number of years. I know, Dr. Sterling, you have invested a significant amount of time in capital because, time is capital. And real capital on top of the hard capital at the same time. And we've been trying to get something over the finish line. And I want to take a moment just to drill down in that a little bit and acknowledge what's going on. Because we've been at this, I guess, Dr. Sterling, 7-8 years, maybe even more.
Yeah, our first meeting was actually in the fall. I remember first meeting was in the fall of 2013. That's how long we've been chasing this vision of empowering the Black business community and improving the health of the citizens of the state of Illinois through health prevention and promotional services. So what you're describing is colloquially known as the Simcoe solution, and it's both economic and a public health solution for the state. And, the irony of this situation is never to be lost on anyone. Have you ever heard of a bill or anything that has been approved 4 consecutive years by the General Assembly and then has not been enacted in the way in which the General Assembly mandated that it would be by the agency in question? That is exactly the situation that is before us, where $240 million over 4 years has been approved by the General Assembly for the creation of a managed preventive care and education organization. In case you never knew, the acronym SIMCO stands for, the last 4 stand for Managed Preventive Care Organization. So we were successful in getting the paradigm across the General Assembly and into the state of Illinois, but only $29 million for telehealth services has ever been appropriated. The relevance of this beyond just the obvious in terms of improving the healthcare outcomes for citizens of the state of Illinois is that this was actually, once again, doubling back to Ubuntu, where this was an economic empowerment entity, and this is something else that's very big and we talk about all the time in the chamber. This was a specific effort in which, when the money was appropriated, we have a roster of over 100 BEP-certified Black businesses in the state of Illinois, and it's not exclusive to Black, but we're predominantly and unapologetically Black, where we actually were looking to, or we actually had already slotted individuals that were going to participate in this project. So it was culturally sensitive, culturally specific, and we were going to deliver healthcare outcomes for us, by us, through us. And for whatever the reasons are, we have had to expend millions, plural, of dollars to stay in the fight, to redirect our efforts, to continue to keep the General Assembly encouraged, interested, and supportive. And, we are the right company for this because we have the expertise on the front end, but we also have the resilience and the financial resources to continue to do this, because at the end of the day, this is about saving lives. On the front end, we started this when COVID was rampaging through communities across the state, and even now we're dealing with all the Medicaid and Medicare cuts that are coming from the federal level. So, the simple notion that these health and human service centers, where an ounce of prevention will be proven to be better than a pound of cure, are as important now as they were when we first started this, because these are people's lives that we're talking about. And for everybody out there, that has tried to be Dr. Google, you know exactly what we're talking about. We're trying to make you a better version, a better steward of your own health care so that the high blood pressure and diabetes and cancer and trauma and all the things that afflict our community disproportionately can be improved upon. So that's the project. We are still pushing for it. We're looking for the General Assembly to approve it again and looking for the agency to whom it will be directed to forward the money to Simcoe and its subcontracting partners. And once again, this doesn't happen without the phenomenal support of the chamber and the Legislative Black Caucus. We just have to close the deal. It's 5 years. It was supposed to be a 5-year demonstration project. This is the 5th year. This is the type of thing that so many people have been supportive, and I thank everybody involved in that. But we have to get it across the finish line, not just for the economic impact, but because people are dying from things that are completely preventable.
Yeah. Hey, let me just say this because we got a caller. I want to make sure we get on. But, you know, again, I want to acknowledge some of the champions. You got Will Davis. You got a lot of Black Caucus members, Maddie Hunter. And we know L.G. Sims is the Senate appropriation guy. We're asking the legislators to help us get this done, to be champions, and let's celebrate getting this done. Hey, LaDonna, let's go ahead and take Vincent Gilbert. Let's chime him in, see what he has to say.
All right, Vincent, thanks for calling. You're on the Wake Up Show Chicago.
Good morning to the WVON family. God bless Melody Span Cooper and her husband Pierre for having this unfiltered reform. Larry, thank you for all that you do in the chamber. I've seen it with my own eyes at many levels, state, local, fighting for the interests of our community. I'm glad you're calling names today because you got me inspired. We have some fantastic Black elected officials, no doubt. You mentioned Maddie Hunter, Brother Sims, the Speaker. On a local level, we have a young man. I don't even like to put labels on him. Ronnie Mosley of the 21st Ward. He's fantastic, and he's a young man. Now, I've worked with every administration going back to the 70s. All the mayors, governors, senators, future presidents, and everybody else in between. Howard Brookins Sr. is a friend of mine. Howard Brookins Jr. is a friend of mine. I don't know of any, and there may be some, I don't know of any aldermen that are not also ward committeemen. Ronnie Mosley's ward is the leading Black vote getter in the state of Illinois. I would like to ask my friends, the Brookins, please, Howard Jr., relinquish the committeeman's seat at a Democratic meeting on May 4th, this Monday. So this young man, as Larry and Dr. Sterling, and I hear on many shows, LaDonna Raeh, advocate for the Black elected officials that are doing a good job. And I was in the Harold Washington administration.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Politics ain't beanbags. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Dr. Sterling, for outlining that business model for the chamber. And thank you for all that you do. The struggle continues.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
For letting me speak.
Of course. All right. We're going to pick up our next caller real quick. Ron, you're live.
Yeah, the gentleman used the word fantastic. Really? I don't get it with Black people. If these people are so fantastic, we would not be having the same discussion. I've been listening to this radio station forever. Black folks still talking about the same thing and still voting for the same elected officials. So, no, they are not fantastic. They might be average. I can't think of any black elected official, city, county, or state. And see, here's the look at the conditions of your community. And he said Ronnie Mosley, whatever, no different than Brooker, has the most votes in, he said, the state. Go through that community. I grew up in that community. So I just get tired of us just exaggerating and saying it. Because you know what it is? Our expectations are low. That's what it is. So if they do anything, so no. There's none that are fantastic. So I just wanted to correct that, Vince Gilbert. None, okay?
All right.
And the thing about it, they just doing their job. You know, I'm retired, and when I work, I just was supposed to do my job. I didn't need accolades and all that. We will know what they're doing from the outcomes and what we see in our community.
That's right. Thanks, Ron. Thank you so much. Dr. Sterling, jump in.
No, let me jump in.
Okay, Larry, jump in.
Go ahead, please.
Mike, let me just say this, is that this is really what's important, that we get a show for people to have different opinions. Someone may see me from a different angle, as someone else may see me from a different point of view. It could be good or bad. The beauty of this thing is that we continue to, to fight with, we could say, and I think there's a place where we do everything. I think when you talk about a young brother who's growing, we want to encourage those brothers to grow and to do more and to be more and make more things happen. And I think there's a balancing act between all of that, quite frankly. And I think each caller has a point to be made. But at the end of the day, we're in this fight together, and we got to challenge each other. When my brother does something wrong, I can, be critical of him, and I should be critical of him many times. But at the same time, I got to encourage him to be better at the same time if I want him to grow up to be an asset to us. So, Dr. Stern, I'll pause back to you because I know we're getting ready to wrap up. I love the fact that we have this incredible opportunity, to help black businesses. And every day, the greatest gift that we have is when we open a door that's been shut, and we do it all the time. And if we come together and work together, we can get more done together than we can get separately. Shout out to all our partners. But Dr. Sterling, I yield back to you.
Real quickly, because I know we have a caller, I just want to say that our elected officials are not messiahs, and they do what we instruct them to do. So it is very easy for us to say that the system has failed us. That is objectively verifiable. The economic spend is so disproportionate for the black community that you cannot come to any other conclusion. The healthcare outcomes in the state are so disproportionately negative for the black community, you can't help but say that it's anything other than fantastic. What we as a chamber and as a community have to do is to contribute the work that the legislators are there to do. We have to be systematic. We have to be specific. We have to be focused in giving them initiatives that we believe support our interest and efforts. They will do what we instruct them to do, and that's why supporting entities like the Chamber and the caucus and having specific initiatives like the Simcoe Solution that actually are tied to those economic and financial outcomes are the way to go. The legislators are not messiahs, but you do have good people over there whose hearts are in the right place, but you can't expect a politician to have a degree in law and medicine and science and everything else. The subject matter experts that we have at our disposal have to step up and direct them, and I think that's what we're trying to do in the chamber.
All right, cool beans. Booker T, real quick, we got to round it up, but real quick, what do you have for us?
I just want to say I think you all are doing an amazing job. Keep up the good work. Sometimes folks don't call in, but we're listening, so kudos to all of you. I think you're doing an amazing job, and nobody else is doing it, but you all are. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you, Booker T. Lori, what you got for us real quick?
Thanks for taking my call. Very quickly, I had the opportunity to listen in to the BDP Council meeting, and the one thing that struck me, and maybe we'll have to discuss in a future show, At one point in that meeting, they put up a list of every state agency and the exemptions they were asking for, meaning this is my budget, this is how much I want exempted from DEP spend. And it was, my recollection, it was tabled, but they were actually asking, I believe, the council to vote on this, basically to vote on our own exclusion. And I was hoping you could speak to this and what is the next step in this process, because I was a little bit taken aback by that. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, well, LaDonna, to Dr. Shirley and LaDonna, again, we love our audience participation. We are always striving to improve ourselves.
Larry, she asked a question. She asked a question right there. Should we get back to her? She asked about the BEP Council asking their board to vote on whether or not these vendors can allocate a certain amount.
The exemptions.
The exemptions, thank you.
About.
Yeah.
I would love to have her to give us a call. If we can get her number, ask her to give us a call. I'd like to talk about the exemptions in terms of how they work, because there's a little more to that in terms of they have requested and required exemptions by the state in procurement. And sometimes the committees allow them to have, because the only people who are supposed to be able to give exemptions are requested exemptions is the BEP Council.
Right.
And if the BEP Council is not meeting, then someone else is taking on that responsibility. And a lot of exemptions that are requested should be denied because they didn't deserve the exemption. And many years ago, when I was on the BEP Council, they would come and say, well, why did you need this? Why are you getting this exemption? Well, we've been getting it for the last 20 years. Well, I said, that's a good reason you're not going to get it. So there's work to be done. We're going to talk about this. That's why we got the show. This show is not free, ladies and gentlemen. We have to pay for this. Pierre wants us to, and nobody wants us to. They love what we do, but at the same time, they're not in the business of charity. They're in the business of promoting and making sure their business survives too. So a shout out to everybody. Let's wrap this thing up. I think we got, 2 minutes left to go.
Not even.
Dr. Sterling, any other comments before we close out of here?
Oh, Dr. Sterling, real quick.
I'll tell you who is fantastic, the Chamber. And thanks for what you do, what you aspire to do, and for being able to do it well. You have a tremendous 25-year track history of success that's verifiable, and just looking forward to what is yet to come. I hope that everybody who listens today gets it and is motivated to try to participate because we are.
I love it. All right, guys, those of you that called in, we want to thank our callers. We want to thank our listeners. We want to thank our members. Thank you to Alwyn for that beautiful event on Thursday. Thank you to the Chamber. And, of course, to get involved, because we lost our caller, make sure you guys go to ilbcc.org and get your membership information there. And we also have contact information there so you can submit a form. Our phone number is 309. Oh, gosh. Why don't I still don't know it. 740-4430. Make sure you give us a call, and you can email us at info@ilbcc.org. You listening? You want to send us a message? Please do so. Our phone lines are open 24/7. You can leave a message, and we want to hear from you. Thank you to the Chamber for allowing this show to prevail and continue each and every Saturday at 9 a.m. on this very radio station, WVON 1690. Happy 63 years. I will be back on Monday on the afternoon show. I'm LaDonna Raeh, your co-host, and that's it. Happy birthday, Liam. Bye-bye for now.
Get ready to wake up to the pulse of progress as we amplify voices, break barriers, and illuminate the path towards a more inclusive tomorrow. Follow us across the socials at The Wake Up Show Chicago. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's The Wake Up Show every Saturday morning at 9, where change begins with every sunrise. Welcome to The Wake Up Show Chicago.
That's the end?
The talk of Chicago and the